In this video, we're going to design a simple floor plan using slide layers, or tabs, that will allow us to see how we can quickly and easily create and rearrange the furniture for a room. I'm going up into Tools, Options, and I'm in the LibreOffice Draw Grid, where I'm going to turn on Snap to Grid, Visible Grid. I want to synchronize my axes. So when I turn on my grid points to 0.5 on one of them, they both get updated. And my subdivisions, I'm going to change this to 4. I'm going to come down and insert a new slide layer. And we're going to call this Room. I'm going to change my default area to hatching. I'm going to make this black 45 degrees wide. Now any shapes I place on the screen will have the hatching with the black 45 degrees. Let's draw the left wall. Going to draw the right wall. We're going to draw the top wall and leave a little room for a door. And the other part of the top wall. Now we'll come down, get the bottom in there. And these are all snapped into grid real nicely. And there we have the walls of our room. Because they're all sections, I want them all to look like one big section. I'm going to select it all, modify, shapes, merge. Now I'm going to come down and lock this layer by checking on the locked, so there's no accidental changes to it. And since we locked this layer, our icons are now inactive. Let's add a new layer. We're going to call this one Sofa, so we can add a sofa to our room. I'm going to change our default area fill to invisible, then come down, grab a rectangle, and place that on the screen. It's a little difficult to tell this is a sofa, so we're going to add in a few more lines. This will be the back of the sofa. Need to add in some armrests. An armrest on this side. And then some cushions. This one could probably go to the right a little more, as well as this one. And we'll draw one more line for the back of the couch and bring this down a little. Now we're not done yet. We want to group this all together, modify, group, and we don't want to accidentally make it larger or smaller, so we're going into Format, Position and Size. And down on the Position and Size tab, we've got something that says Protect Size. Now that way, if we try and resize it, it won't work. But I can still click on it and rotating, holding Shift will lock it into those 15-degree increments. And we can move this around the room, see how it would look. Right now, when I click, I need to be on one of these lines to click. So I'm going to enter this group, select this outer box by clicking on it, and I'm going to change that background color to white. And we can see that it's white because our grid lines have disappeared. I'm going to exit the group. Now I don't need to be on one of the lines to move the sofa. I can click anywhere inside those lines where it's white. And if I don't want to see the sofa, I just need to make that layer invisible. I modify the layer and uncheck the visible checkbox. I'm going to add a new layer, and we're going to call this one Cabinet. Because being in the room with the sofa, we're probably going to want to watch TV or maybe play some video games or the like. We'll need some place to store that. So we're going to store that in a cabinet. Let's color this cabinet. Maybe this orange one. And I'm going to place some doors on here. Maybe little cabinet doors. Make it a little thicker. Let's change the color to brown 2. I'm going to hit Control C, Control V, make a copy, and move it down. The middle is going to be a drawer. Control C, Control V. And the one on the right is going to be another door. So there's going to be cabinets on the side and a drawer in the front. Let's add the drawer first. I'm going to insert a rectangle, and it's going to come out 1.5 units, and it's 2 units wide. Because this drawer is a pull-out, we want it to look a little different than the cabinet. So I'm going to give it a color. We'll go orange 2. And then I'm going to select one of the cabinet doors. Do Control C, Control V, and let's move that over to the edge of the front of the drawer so we can see that that stands out a little darker. Now we want the doors to swing open. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to make a copy of it. Control C, Control V. Clicking it a second time to put us in rotation mode, I'm going to move the rotation point to the corner, come to the other end of the door, and just swing it out. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Clicking on it, Control C, Control V, making the copy. Clicking on it the second time, moving the control point to the corner, and opening up the door. Now, a lot of times in architecture, we're going to see a little line here showing that this is a swing open door. To do that, we're going to use the arc that we placed on our toolbar way back in that video sometime back. Clicking on that, I want to start it with the center at the rotation point. And remember how we get the center is to hold down Alt before we start our circle. Now we've got the circle, and I still need to hold down Alt, although I've taken my finger off the mouse button, because now it's asking me how much of this arc do I want to create. So I'm going to go counterclockwise. So I'm going to click on the door open here. Now it's going to draw it because I'm going the counterclockwise motion. And there we have our line. Let's do the same thing with the other door. Going to click on the arc, go to the rotation point, hold down Alt, make our circle. This time if I click on the door, it will take away because I'll be going in the clockwise fashion, and it will leave what's left. So I would have the circle from here to here. So I want to click on the door closed position, then move it to the door open position. If I go clockwise, we see we would reverse it. But counterclockwise draws the line. Let's do the same thing we did with the sofa. I want to select it all, group it together. I want to go into Format, Position and Size, and protect that size. One last thing I want to do with this is I want to enter the group. I'm going to select the open doors and drawer. Cut this. Insert a layer. We'll call this Cabinet Doors. And here we will paste the doors. Now I'm going to exit the group. So we can turn off the open doors and see what it would look like closed. We can still move this around and then make visible the cabinet doors. Now if we make our sofa visible again, we're right on top of it. So we need to move that out. And there we have our sofa and our TV cabinet with the door showing the full extension of the doors, and I can close those cabinet doors. And that shows how it would look like with the doors closed. Now, doing this, you could also put in electrical outlets and have your walls hollow and draw your electrical wires going through the walls of your house. Putting different fuses or circuit breakers on different layers or in different colors.